The way you start to become a free thinker is to understand the conditioning that we've all gone through, and understand the conditioning can come from people that you deem as good, people that you look up to, people who have good reputations, people who have great careers and occupations, but a lot of them have been manipulated in different ways. And they're passing on this ideology and they're passing on these beliefs in a way that's not serving you or anyone around you. So you guys, be a free thinker, read more books, take time to reflect. And you know what? The ultimate thing is you got to get clear on your truth and your conscience, because God has put everything on your heart that you need to become and do in this life. You're just not listening. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Crane, and thank you for tuning in. I'm here in beautiful Goleta, California, 805. If you're from the 805, I always want you to comment on this down below. I love seeing who's in my local area. And please share this message in my podcast with somebody who's looking for direction, purpose, inspiration, somebody who needs to get fired up. You know, my message is, you guys, I want to get you thinking. I want to get you reflecting on your life and how you're living. But most importantly is I want to infuse some inspiration in you to go above and beyond, to go after what you truly want. There's a lack of urgency in these times that people have that shocks me. You know, everyone thinks they're going to live forever. And it's like, you guys are all going to die. You're all going to die. And we just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated. We see people die every day. These kids at the school in Colorado got killed. I mean, look what's happening in Gaza. All over the world, people are dying all the time. And people still live like they're going to just be here forever. It shocks me, man. The thing is, you're not going to be here forever. And you're going to look back with regret when your time comes or you get older, wishing that you would have done the things that you really wanted to do. Don't let that happen to you. Today, I want to share with you, though, how to become a free thinker. Because a lot of it is people get just numb and dulled and they settle. You know, people are just, gosh, man, they're like a bunch of zombies walking around in society. Why does this happen? Why does that happen? Why, after young people go to college or get out of high school, I feel like they just kind of settle and they start coasting and then they settle. I remember when I came home from prison, I saw the people that were my age. I was nearly 30 years old, and they had all just given up on life. It was apparent. Like, they were just comfortable and they were just settling for mediocrity. And I couldn't believe it. And I thought to myself, why are they not continuing to better themselves? Like, when we're younger, we're going to school. You want to get good grades. You're thinking about your future. Your teachers are talking to you about college or what you want to do when you're done with high school. And like, there's a sense of like optimism there and urgency with young people. Something happens from that point until people start having kids, or a little after they have kids, where they lose that spirit, they lose that urgency, they lose that dreamlike ability we have as young people to envision what they want to be and achieve in this life. And is that because what? They don't go all in? They let fear stop them? They hit a couple roadblocks so they get discouraged? I don't know what it is, man. But I do know that a lot of people end up settling, and I freaking hate it. If you're settling right now, you better wake the heck up, man. Like, if I see you in person, I'm going to talk to you like this. I want to know about your goals. I want to know about what you're passionate about. I want to know why you're holding back. I want to know what you're scared of. I want to know what it is that is just keeping you stuck, man, because we could break through that. We could crush those negative beliefs. We could crush those negative energies and move towards a meaningful life. I want to infuse belief and inspiration in everyone I come across, man. That's my goal. That's my freaking job. My job every day is to get up and do things that make me feel proud of myself, so I can get this fire, this energy, this passion inside of me and infuse it into you, right? Whether it's through a message on my podcast, on social media, or we talk in person. And that's what I want to do for my kids. That's what I want to do, you know, with my coaching clients. That's what I want to do for society at large. Today, I want to bring to you some awareness. A lot of you aren't free thinkers. A lot of you let fear and doubt hold you back. A lot of you let other people's opinions and judgments of you hold you back. A lot of you are suppressing your God-given potential. Now, in order to become a free thinker, it requires you to do a couple things. Number one is reflect on everything that you see and hear, and your own life as well. Daily self-reflection and introspection is so powerful because you hold the truth and the secrets and answers to a lot of life's problems right now, and you don't even realize it because you're not reflecting. You're numb. You're checked out. You're on your phone. You're doing drugs. You're chasing pleasure. You're on screens. You're doing all this stuff that's detaching you from the truth inside of you. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you got to read more books. Read books by authors who have done exceptional things. Read books about psychology, personal development, business. Read books that are nonfiction, books that could add value to your life, books where you can get information. Because a lot of times when you read books and you start to learn from people who have done amazing things or other free thinkers, you start to connect the dots and go, wow, the way they think, the way they live, the results they have is different than most of society. And you start to go, well, why is that? What are they doing differently? Most of society, like I said, they quit and gave up a long time ago. They let fear and doubt suppress their potential. They're on their phones too much. They're consumers. And a lot of them, they're watching the news or they're listening to people that are, influential in their lives, and they're believing everything they say. And, you shouldn't believe everything that people say, especially politicians, especially people in the media. And nowadays, even professors, even college institutions, even freaking doctors. You should question everybody. If you want to read a really good book that could put things in perspective, I'm going to hold it up right here. This book is by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil. Okay. Napoleon Hill also wrote the infamous book, well, maybe not infamous, famous, great book, amazing book, Think and Grow Rich. But in this book, Outwitting the Devil, he talks about these polarizing energies in the world. And I think you can all attest to this right now. It does feel like there's something taking place in life right now where good and evil is having a battle. Okay. Maybe it's this battle in the heavens, it's the battle out in the universe, but we're feeling the effects of it. You could feel these polarizing energies, right? You could just feel it, man. It's palpable. And Napoleon Hill talks about how God is always trying to call you to greatness. God is always whispering in your ear, right? Go after that goal, make that change, let go of that toxic relationship. God's always there trying to get your attention, but we're stubborn, and in the Bible, it says humans are, we're sinners. And I used to not understand that, but I was at a sermon this last weekend and the minister broke it down really well. He goes, in the Bible, when it says you're sinners, it doesn't mean like you're going to get up and just do evil. It means that we have these emotions and tendencies inside of us that are not conducive to us becoming our best selves. Anger, resentment, being in a bad mood, being irritable, being jealous, having a negative thought. All those are forms of sin. And then we have what? Pleasure-seeking tendencies. We want to overeat the food. We want to do the drugs. People have affairs. Guys are out there struggling, looking at porn. Some of you want to be on your phones all day long, even at your kids' games or while you're dropping them off at school. You're not paying attention. Like there's all these things we do every day that are it's maladaptive coping. It's not conducive to who we want to become. Right now, you can make a list of all these things you're doing in your life every day that is not serving you, but you continue to do it. Why do you do that? Why do you keep doing the things that you say you shouldn't do? Right? It's because we're freaking sinners. And it took me a long time to understand that. But when I heard the sermon on Sunday, it clicked for me. And it's like, wow, we are sinners. We're imperfect. And so how do you start to find a path in life if you have these tendencies? Well, according to Napoleon Hill, according to a lot of people, it's the word, it's the Bible. And, for me, I never really connected to the word in the Bible. I would read these stories and, the New Testament, the book of Matthew, like I'd hear these quotes and people would read scripture. And I was like, wow, that sounds good. Yeah, there's a lot of like validity to what is written in the Bible. Iron sharpens iron like a man sharpens a man. That's one of my favorite quotes, comes from the Bible. There's so much in the Bible that is positive and that is eye-opening. But for me, when I started going through my transformation and making the commitment to change my life, I just didn't connect to the Bible in a way that would compel me to make massive change. I didn't. But you know what did get my attention? It was that good voice that was always inside of me every day, calling me to be a better person, telling me, Sean, get sober. Sean, get away from these friends you're hanging out with. They're no good for you. Like, Sean, go back and play sports. You're an athlete. This is who you are at your core. Go play sports. Right? Like I wanted to be such a better person. But at that time in my life, I was afflicted. But that voice was always there inside of me. And for you right now, that voice is there telling you what changes you need to make. But you keep ignoring that voice and you keep wondering why you're upset and disgruntled and suffering and struggling in your life. You keep wondering why you're stuck. It's because you're not listening and you're not willing to pursue whatever that voice is telling you to do in your life and commit to it all in. And if you would do that, and if you could do that, your whole world would transform around you over time. That's what happened to me. And so Napoleon Hill describes in his book, Outwitting the Devil, you all need to read it. Don't listen to it on audio. Read it, underline it, study it, and then reflect on what you read and how it makes you feel. He talks about the corruption that takes place in this world. He talks about good versus evil, God and the devil, always battling, vying for your attention. And he talks about how the devil starts to win people over, right? In subtle acts over time, by compromising your willpower, by instilling fear and doubt in your consciousness, by giving you those insecure thoughts and worrying about what other people think about you. And at a young age, the devil starts to get a hold of you through these thoughts. Then your actions align to those negative thoughts. Then the devil's got a grip on you because now that negative energy persists inside of you. And what don't you do? You don't strive for excellence. You don't pursue your dreams. You don't tap into your potential. Then you are not an asset for God, but now you become an asset for the devil, because then you influence other people. You grow up to have kids, right? And then those fears and those negative beliefs are passed on to your children. Maybe you have coworkers, maybe you have friends. Now you're all stuck in this negativity, right? The devil, or Napoleon Hill, calls them drifters in life. You just go through the motions. You don't ever do anything exceptional. You wait for the weekend to party and drink and eat food. You look forward to football on Thursday nights and your fantasy football teams. You're on your phone all day long scrolling for this instant gratification, this dopamine spike, but you don't do anything meaningful and purpose-driven in your life. Why is that? It's because early on, those seeds of doubt and that fear and that broken willpower, right, that these evil forces have imposed upon you, pulled you away from that path that God was calling you to take. See, I was on that path. I was so close to becoming a drifter, a waste, another zombie walking the streets. But for whatever reason, God in divine intervention came into my life in that right moment, right? In such a profound way. I was facing life in prison. That's the only thing that could have woken me up and given me separation from what? Society, from this conditioning, from all those toxic relationships. That was the only thing that could have got me to pay attention and want to actually change and live a better life. Nothing else would have done it for me. I was this close to overdosing so many times. I saw my dad overdose. I saw my mom overdose a handful of times. I lost my Uncle Jerry. I lost my cousin Andrew. Since I've lost both my parents. RIP, I love you guys so much. And you know what? I'm continuing to fight the fight that you guys couldn't overcome because you were afflicted. Those demons had a hold of you. I'm going to fight that fight, not just for my family, but for everybody out there who's struggling. And this is what it comes down to, whether you're battling addiction to drugs, porn, whether you're just going through the motions in life. I know so many people out there that just feel like something's missing, that you're not living a purpose-driven life. What is it? How can I change? Why am I feeling this way? And you know what? People are going through this all the time, and then they numb it out, and then they forget about it, but it's always there. It's always persisting below the surface. It's always internal, because that was me for 10 years. And no matter how much I numbed it out, no matter how much I ran from that feeling, no matter how much I stopped talking about it, no matter how much I suppressed my truth, it was always there. It was always there. And, you know, for a lot of you, it's going to be there till the day you die. And the sad truth is, a lot of people will never figure it out. And as a coach, as a speaker, as someone who truly cares about others, that breaks my freaking heart. And so I've dedicated my life's purpose, my mission is to speak this truth, share this message, demonstrate by being an example every day, all day long, for as long as it takes to win as many of you over as possible, right? To go after your dreams, to fulfill those goals, to pursue excellence, to go down that path that God is calling you to take. If you're somebody who's struggling right now and you want to understand how the devil and these evil forces has infiltrated your mind, most likely your parents, most likely your teachers, most likely these college institutions, most likely these politicians, most likely everybody that you listen to on the media, you got to read this book by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil. If you want to be a free thinker, the way you start to become a free thinker is to understand the conditioning that we've all gone through, and understand that the conditioning can come from people that you deem as good, people that you look up to, people who have good reputations, people who have great careers and occupations, but a lot of them have been manipulated in different ways. And they're passing on this ideology and they're passing on these beliefs in a way that's not serving you or anyone around you. So you guys, be a free thinker, read more books, take time to reflect. And you know what? The ultimate thing is you got to get clear on your truth and your conscience, because God has put everything on your heart that you need to become and do in this life. You're just not listening. If you have the courage and confidence and belief and faith to go down that path, I promise you will live the most exceptional life you could ever imagine.